All right, call the meeting to order. Roll call. Members of council are here and present. Councillor Antonio is off on personal, and we'll dispense with land acknowledgement that was done previous meeting. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest on the agenda is presented to members. Hearing none, we'll have that duly noted. The introduction and purpose of the meeting is to hear public comment on zoning bylaw amendment application at 1650 Shawnee Road. And I believe, Mr. Jeffries, if you want to add to our purpose.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, members of council. Lindquist Brothers Bait Company Limited, it's represented by Mr. John King here tonight, has submitted a rezoning application for approximate 0.2 hectare or half acre lot on the east side of Shawnee Road, just north of Westlake. So if you could turn to attachment 1, please. It shows the location of the subject property. And while they're searching for that, I'll just describe the property. It's occupied by a 2,800 square foot fish bait manufacturing facility and an accessory structure. And it's been operating from the site for decades now. And those structures, you can see them here. So the subject property is outlined in red there. They're to be demolished as part of this proposal. If you turn to attachment 2, you'll see the sketch that was submitted with the Committee of Adjustment application, where provisional consent was granted to sever the lot in red and to retain the lot in green. The lot in red has a frontage of 14.98 meters or 49 feet roughly, and the retained lot has a frontage of 50 feet, and both lots are greater than 10,000 square feet in area. So they're rather large lots, but they're narrow. The property is designated residential in the Tecumseh official plan and zone neighborhood commercial zone C2-2 in the Sandwich South zoning bylaw. And that reflects the historical use of the subject property for the fish bait manufacturing facility. As a condition of consent, the property is to be rezoned from the C2-2 to a residential zone 1 R1-19 site specific zoning. And that zoning will permit a single unit dwelling on each of the retained and severed lots. And it will establish a minimum lot frontage of 14.98 meters or 49.1 feet, as well as a minimum interior side yard of 1.5 meters or 5 feet. With respect to all the other provisions of the general R1 zone that applies to most of the lands in the Tecumseh hamlet, it meets the zoning requirements. So it's just the minimum lot frontage and interior side yard that this zoning is addressing. Attachment 3 shows the concept plan. You can see that the 5-foot interior side yards are between the 2 new buildings. The side yard to the north and to the south will maintain a 6.6 foot and 10 foot respectively. The minimum interior side yard, and both lots are greater than 10,000 square feet, as you can see there. Attachment 4 shows a concept of what the proponent is thinking of building on the sites. It's 2-story with a 2-car garage. The surrounding land uses, which are shown on attachment 5, are predominantly single unit, low density residential. The lots that are highlighted in orange represent lots that have frontages of 60 feet or less. So although most of this area has rather wide lots in accordance with the R1 zone, which establishes a minimum of 70 feet frontage, there are some exceptions to that, and they're outlined in orange. So it's not entirely unusual to have a lot that's less than the minimum established in the R1 zone. To the north, within a 5-minute walk, is a commercial node at the intersection of County Road 22 and L'Esperance. And then if you were to zoom out from this, there's the area to the west is agricultural and natural heritage, and it is part of the Tecumseh Hamlet secondary planning area. So the provincial policy statement encourages intensification and the wise use of land, minimizing land consumption and servicing costs. And of course, the council decisions have to be consistent with the provincial policy statement. It promotes intensification redevelopment within settlement areas such as this. And Those policy objectives are all reiterated in the county official plan. In the Tecumseh official plan, which is on attachment 6, you can see that the property is designated residential. It also encourages intensification in fully serviced urban areas such as this, but in stable residential areas that surround the subject property, it has to fit within the neighboring property and address the issues outlined in 318, which are the compatibility issues. We've done an assessment of this, and we think that it conforms to all the policies of the Tecumseh official plan. There's a need for this type of housing. There's a need for housing everywhere, as we know. It's compatible with the surrounding land uses, and the infrastructure and transportation network can accommodate this proposal. So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, tonight, if there are any issues that arise that need further addressing, we'll do that through a follow-up report and recommendation. But if there are no issues, or if they're fully resolved tonight, we'll come back to the next council meeting with a zoning bylaw amendment. So those are my comments, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. And I believe Mr. King's only here to answer questions if required. So with that, any questions or certainly comments, go ahead, Councillor Houston.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Mr. Jeffries. Just a question, recognizing we've had a lot of policy changes, and here specifically, I believe the lot was about 100 feet, now subdividing it into 250s, and both 10,000 square feet. So is that now, because of all of the policy changes, will that be the norm, or will it be I guess the minimum? I'm just wondering if it's the 10,000 square feet or the 50-foot frontage, or a combination of both, which now, with the need of housing, is this going to be kind of set the bar and what we'll see acceptable moving forward?
Through Mr. Mayor to Councillor Houston. Yeah, the policy environment and the official plan certainly has changed to allow for smaller lots, different types of housing, even throughout the town settlement areas. The zoning bylaw, however, hasn't changed to implement that direction yet, and that's why they're here tonight to get a rezoning to allow for this. But the policy environment certainly promotes it and supports it, and there will be other opportunities throughout the Tecumseh Hamlet for this type of this type of scenario to unfold. However, they're not as widespread as you might think, because the area is fully developed with relatively new houses. So there are some opportunities, but I don't think that you'll see a plethora of applications coming forward in the near future.
Further questions? Hearing none, then if I could have a motion to receive communication. Councillor Higginson and Councillor Houston, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Also, we have a report before us, report DS 2023-07 zoning bylaw amendment, condition of consent application of B 0523 1650 Shawnee Road, scheduling of a public meeting. Recommendation that the report entitled zoning bylaw amendment condition of consent B-0523 1650 Shawnee Road, scheduling of a public meeting be received. Deputy Mayor Bichetti and Councillor Dorner. On the motion, all in favor? Opposed, if any, that is carried. And without no further business, then adjournment of this meeting is now in order. Councillor Houston and Councillor Higginson, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.